Hello, welcome back to One to the Force, the Star Wars podcast. I'm Phil from Bucket Awesomeness. I'm joined by my co-host George from Cinema Savvy and Dave from Life of Brien. Good evening, gentlemen.
Evening.
How you doing?
Very good, very good, very good. Looking forward to a good episode, talking the wars.
Yeah.
Nothing better to pass the night. So much news. Can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of news this evening. This week was quite spectacular for us. We got a hell of a lot coming through, so there's a lot to chew through tonight. We might overrun our hour, we might go down to an hour and a half tonight, you never know. So yeah, let's just jump straight into the news. First off is important for us, is we now have audio. So George has set this up, I'll let him talk you through that.
Yeah, so at the minute, if you're watching this now or if you're watching on YouTube, then well done, you're on YouTube. What we are now doing, we have SoundCloud account. We're uploading the videos as MP3 formats, and we are currently awaiting response from iTunes to have it on there. So if you prefer listening to podcasts, then do check it out on there. We will let you know when the account has been verified. If it gets verified, they just have to check if we say very naughty words. And as well as speaking for Cinema Savvy too, we will be attempting to upload some stuff on there too. Obviously, we do have swear words on that one, so that might take a bit longer to get processed, but there's also a lot more history to get to that. So we'll keep you updated on both channels. But if you do use SoundCloud, I've never really used it. There's a follow button somewhere, and we're on there as just Ones with the Force, a Star Wars podcast. Drop us a follow, and you'll be able to listen to us in the car. Because if you don't like our faces, then you should like our voices instead.
Our silky smooth, sexy voices.
We have faces of concrete and voices of honey, it's fine.
There's a t-shirt.
Yes, it is. Alright. The important for us is we now have audio. Second on our news, Rogue One has reached $1 billion already. One of the most popular films of 2016, as we reported last week, it's reached $1 billion at the cinema already. Now, Lucasfilm, they already said they weren't expecting it to be as big as Episode 7, purely because, there was a 10-year wait for Episode 7. It's the first sequel film, whereas Rogue One's their first standalone film, so they weren't quite sure what was going to happen. But it's impressive. Not only has it reached $1 billion, but as our second bit of news, it's also got 2 Oscar nominations.
It's... Go on, Joshua.
Okay, it's been nominated for Best VFX, which, let's be honest, I think is Revenge of the Sith the only Star Wars film that wasn't nominated for that?
Yeah.
So that was a given. Whether or not it wins it, I personally think Jungle Book will. That's worth checking out if you haven't. It's scarily good, the CGI in that film. And I believe it's also for Best Sound Mixing. As someone that always follows the Oscars, I still don't know the difference between sound mixing and sound editing.
Sound editing.
To me, it's the exact same thing.
Sound editing and sound mixing are very different. Sound editing it's literally the effects, it's literally all of the different, taking all the sound effects, taking all the bits of music and editing it so it all kind of flows into one, making the full soundtrack. Whereas
Mixing,
is it's the final mix. It's how it all balances throughout the film. So my brain for a second was like, I'm making a point here, I can't remember it. The mix is how they basically blend it all together. So for example, when you have a scene with dialogue, but someone's using a blaster, it's so the blaster doesn't override the audio of the dialogue, so you can hear what's going on. But when the dialogue's finished, the noise of the blaster will increase as it being noticeable. So it's basically creating a nice... it complements the visuals as much as possible, so that's why they're slightly different.
The problem is, as well different as they are, to me, it's still editing. But that's just the Academy's own thing. But no, I'm happy it's up for Oscars. To this day, I hope that Episode 8 will be nominated for some, as it will. But I hope Star Wars can win one, because I don't think it's won one since the 80s, which is very sad indeed. Because
the Tarkin work has to get close. It's got to. The Tarkin work in Rogue One is exceptional.
Yeah. And
if that's not given some sort of merit, I think that's wrong. I know Jungle Book does look incredible, for it all being one kid running around in a green screen set. But yeah, I'd love to see a nod for that. I just thought it was phenomenal.
Yeah, it's a good one. But Episode 8, you'll get Oscar nominations. Whether or not it wins any, we'll hope. Whether this wins any...
Well, John Williams will naturally get his Oscar nomination.
Yeah, he got nominated, but the only reason he lost out was because it was Ennio Morricone's first Oscar nomination, because he's a legend and he never won one.
He had 8 nominations as his first win.
That was it, the other way around. And that's the thing. John Williams got the record of nominations, but if Morricone hadn't been up, he would have won.
Yeah, obviously.
How did a man get 50 Oscar
To be fair though,
nominations?
I think Giacchino should have got a nod for the Rogue One soundtrack, so I actually prefer it to the Episode 7 soundtrack.
Same here, and I think a lot of people do. I think the way the Oscars work, it's not politics, but Force Awakens was an event film. That's probably why it got so many. It was a great film. But I personally preferred Giacchino's soundtrack, but given how La La Land, completely unrated Star Wars, La La Land sweeping the universe with awards, soundtrack's probably, even less obvious of an outside choice for anyone other
Well, it
than La La
didn't even
Land.
get nominated, which was a bit annoying.
No, it's just the
well.
Oscars are fight for second, but still 2. That's another 2 in the bag. It's another 2 more than Revenge of the Sith got.
Yeah, this is true.
But yes, and
how a film with Jar Jar Binks didn't even get nominations, I'll never know.
it lost out to The Matrix, so at least.
Yeah.
And moving off the Rogue One news, I suppose we could call it that.
Yeah.
Speaking of a Star Wars story news, the untitled Han Solo film has officially begun shooting this week. Revealed on Twitter by, I can't remember if it's Phil Lord or Chris Miller, one of the two, with one of the most outstanding tweets I've ever seen in my life. It's so dense. There's so many things going on.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, was it Han first shot?
Yes, Han first shot, yeah.
Han first shot.
Interpret that how you will. There's a picture of a clapperboard, if you haven't seen this for the
with,
shots.
Interestingly, the working title, Red Cup, revealed underneath. I say interesting because
Red Solo Cup.
is because when they did Space Bears for episode 8, the only reason they released it officially is because Carrie Fisher released a picture of Gary on one of the chairs. And Rogue One was codenamed Los Alamos, and that was never officially released. So this is the first time they've, because I can't remember what episode 7 was, but it's the first time they've come along and actually gone, here is the actual working title. But I love it. I love the Han first shot. I thought it was brilliant. So many layers.
I think one of the reasons they did it is because about a month or 2 ago it leaked online, didn't it? The production name. It's like, you can apply for a job at inquiries at... No. Was it inquiries at Lucasfilm? They gave out the email address, like, apply here if you want a job on Star Wars. So good luck to the poor office intern that had to sift through them emails from fans.
Probably only got 1 or 2, probably.
1,000.
And I think that's all of the main news until we get to the Juggernaut.
Yeah, we've got a blasted through news because we know we're going to spend a while on this one. And I am very excited for us to announce that Episode 8 finally has a title. Now, we all went to Star Wars Celebration and we were all sat there for the future filmmakers panel going, give us a title. Well, now, nearly a year later, we finally have a title, Episode 8, known as The Last Jedi. Gentlemen, thoughts?
Dave, go for it.
First thing first, the title when it came out floored me out. I'd love the title immediately. With time to think on it, and I think the worst thing is I've had now time to reflect on it. We've had a week of having it, and I've reflected on seeing so much around it, and there's been so much chatter on it, and what Jedi means. Is Jedi singular? Is it Jedi plural? Is Luke the Jedi? Is Rey the Jedi? Is the last Jedi mean there's more Jedi coming? But first thoughts. This is I love the title. I'm a bit sad that we've had Return of the Jedi and now The Last Jedi very close together. And I think it's like probably the only time in Star Wars titles that we've ever had one of the words used sort of more apart from of and things like that, but like Jedi or Empire, it's only like Force Awakens, so you've never had the same word in the titles. So it seems it's quite jarring to get that as well.
Yes.
But first thought immediately, I really love the title. It invoked so much in my head.
What do you think about the red letter in it as well?
It's not the first time.
No, they had it for Return of the Jedi.
The Sith.
It was Revenge of the Jedi as it was first known as. But, I kind of like that as a little nod to the past. So my thoughts personally on it were that it would be plural. They wouldn't have introduced Rey and brought Luke back just to kill off Luke. He needs to train Rey. My thoughts are because Jedi is both singular and plural, and a lot of people's first initial reaction was, please don't kill Luke, please don't kill Luke, please don't kill Luke. It's like, oh my god, Luke. Well, actually, if you think about it, Jedi is plural. And you've got Rey coming in. Rey isn't a Jedi yet. If you kill off Luke, Yoda has to train Luke for him to become a proper Jedi, even after they killed off Obi-Wan. If they kill off Luke, it's going to be a bit difficult for her to train all the rest of it. I personally believe that Luke will live throughout Episode 8, but that title is quite interesting, especially considering that it picks up right after The Force Awakens. So I've seen a theory online, I quite like this, that the sequel trilogies will actually spell out a sentence. So at the moment, you've got The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi.
From his nap.
Yes, from his nap. Yes, okay, yeah. I could share that, yes. I couldn't help but share that. But I find it quite interesting how they could link it together, because of course this is also the first Star Wars film to pick up immediately after a previous film. I mean, with between 6 and 7 there's 30 years, between 3 and 4 there's 20 years, and even between in the trilogies between 4 and 6 there's 4 years worth, and between 1 and 2 you've got 10. So this is the first time ever they've gone 1, 2. Even with Rogue One into 4, you still have a few days.
20 minutes.
Yeah, whereas this is literally immediately after.
I think with the immediately after, what I noticed from Rian Johnson, obviously he said at Celebration last year, so there's no spoiler. That was we all knew that. I think he said in an interview recently that he didn't like the idea of them going forward a year or two and not showing Rey being trained. He's even said that. So we are going to see Rey get trained by Luke, unless there's a magical island of Jedi that were behind him that we didn't see. But
I've got to think Yoda might show up at some point. I don't know. I've just got a feeling that
I would
Yoda might be there.
I would love a voice or a Force ghost. There were rumors Frank Oz was at the set. If that's true, that would be incredible. But I'm not going to get my hopes up because you get so many rumors. But I believe, me personally, with the title, The Last Jedi, straight away I thought R.I.P. Luke, and then you realise that Jedi is a plural, and Disney aren't stupid to spoil a film in the title. But what the most intriguing thing was the red text, because we saw that in Revenge of the Sith, the darkest one, originally Revenge of the Jedi, obviously now Return of the Jedi, which was all about Luke turning evil. So I think in this there is going to be a dark side, whether we see Rey get tempted or if we see Kylo progress further to the dark side than we did in the last film. Is he going to kill his uncle Luke? I don't know. Something Snoke, we don't know, but I've got a feeling.
Episode 9, something Snoke is now my odds-on favourite thing.
I can just imagine that this film. Me personally, I've said from the beginning, Luke will finish Episode 9 as a Force ghost. Rightfully, or hopefully so. As horrible as that sounds, I want Luke dead at the end of them. We will see him as a ghost, so at least we'll see Mark Hamill in the film.
I don't want Luke dead. I like him to live on, but I don't know if that'll happen. But I hope he'll die in 8 though, because we need him for 9.
Yeah, I want something to happen. Whatever their plan is, I'm nailed. I mean, I love Rian Johnson, and as well, what I liked is that although JJ wrote Episode 7, he put the seeds in place for 8. Rian Johnson came on board, and they said, "You're writing 8. This will happen, but then you're going to have." Originally, he was going to write 9. I still don't know if that's the case. But if Rian Johnson's got the middle chapter and arguably the tail end of the back, although obviously Kathleen Kennedy and co have picked the original ending for the trilogy, if Rian Johnson's got more creative control than we thought, then that's going to be fantastic because he's essentially writing the 2 chapters, whereas JJ was solely 1 chapter helping out on the other 2 in the background. So the last... Sorry.
Yeah, so my thoughts personally on it would be that 8 as the Last Jedi be used as a springboard of Luke training Rey. Perhaps, with Yoda's Force Ghost, maybe even the background of Force Ghost of Alec McGuinness, which I know we would all love just as a small cameo. He does say Rey in The Force Awakens in that little audio snippet, so he could have something. But I think basically she'll get trained, and her mission will then be to destroy the First Order with help of Luke and bring Kylo back to the light. So by the end of 9, you could have Kylo back on the light side, the First Order destroyed, Snoke destroyed, and the Republic rebuilding. That would be my personal thoughts as to the way they could go forward with it. Now, that may not be the case, obviously. We're just speculating here, but that would be my personal thoughts on what could happen.
To me, I've said this from the get-go from Episode 7, I really like Kylo. As great as it would be bringing him back, and I assume that's what they would do, I would love a twist of him getting darker and darker to the point where he's killed his uncle, he's killed his father, something will happen with probably his cousin / potential sister / something that we hopefully find out in episode 8.
I don't want her to be anyone. She'd be a Kenobi. You know, I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with her being anyone but related to Kylo.
It's going to be one where I hope we do find out her parentage, because that's another thing they've detracted. Before that title change, everything was about who's Rey's parents. Still, a year or two on, everything was about her parents. Now that title's come out, everyone's gone from Rey's parents to is Luke going to live or not. So I think that's something that we can address, which will help them tease whatever outcome they have.
I think had they even planned in episode 8 to let Luke die, if it was planned, the passing of Carrie Fisher probably has changed all of that. Because now, with obviously losing her, there's not going to be a 9. What I maybe think may happen is see, even maybe she disappears in the comics or something like that. I know we discussed on the last issue, but I think maybe we get in the title crawl of 9 something about why she's not there. And what I would really like to see is like a big celebration of her, like a big funeral sort of thing at the very start of episode 9, as sort of like just a tribute. I thought it would be a really nice start. I mean, the theater would be full of men crying, but it would be amazing to have this big goodbye, this big just a thank you for your work, and then move it in the film. I just think it would be a nice way to round that out with them not having to give an explanation. You can have the comics, which people can then read if they're outside of that.
Yeah.
Put something in the opening crawls, and everyone else is going to go and see it.
That they might do a book though.
Something like that. But just like I meant. But for anyone who's outside the films to read that and get more in depth, but just something in the crawl that explains why she's not there. This big funeral for her to say, this is our big goodbye to Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher, and then we're into episode 9.
The reason why I say book is I don't think they would want to put a visual of her being killed in.
Definitely not. Definitely, there's no way. Yeah.
So I think they might go down the book route for that if they were to do it.
I think I mentioned last time or off air, but I think they're in a situation where people are going to moan regardless. There's going to be some smarks that want her CGI'd in it, which is absolutely disgraceful to think that. There's going to be people that obviously don't want her in it, but they need to explain it. So I think whatever happens, there will be some like negative outcry from some cynical people, but I just hope that they have a plan, because they shouldn't have a plan in situations like this, but I hope they can figure something out for the best of Carrie's legacy, but also for the franchise they're doing, because the crew isn't just people she works with. They're like her daughter works with her on the films. Mark Hamill's one of her closest friends, so it's not an easy situation for any of them to be in. So I hope they do something right with it, but that could affect episode 8, because I'm assuming they might do some reshoots. There's 10 months till it comes out, or if they need to change a few editing techniques, but that sadly is one of the only perks of them releasing it in December rather than May like the original release.
But back to the title. Did everyone see the Josh Gad video from Instagram with Daisy Ridley?
Yes.
Tim Breeze at the trailer, and obviously it worked a bit, but I thought it was quite funny. So who's the last Jedi?
It was
singular. Is it plural? I'm not going to tell you anything. Let's just get to work.
She seemed really. I can't tell if it was words, but she seemed really pissed off. Like in all of her interviews, forever she's been buzzing, and that was the day the title come out, and it was straight up, a camera to your face in front of millions. Who's the last Jedi? And she's like, not today. And I've never seen her look a bit fuming. But she still looked great, like normal. She looked happy to be fuming, which says a lot about her. But the one thing seeing that video has made me really excited for the press junkets towards the end of the year, because I just can't wait to see everyone back together and, buzzing for it. John Boyega, I've missed him. He hasn't been on Snapchat as much now. He's filming stuff. But I can't wait for what's going to come over the coming months. And obviously a trailer soon. Yeah,
now my theory, and hopefully still valid, would hopefully get it for in time for the Super Bowl, which is on Sunday, because it would be the largest audience they could get their hands on. Over 100 million people will tune in to watch the Super Bowl. I mean, you can't get a larger audience.
I did agree with that, but I think now we're so close to the Super Bowl. Transformers has been confirmed. I think all the trailers are starting to get confirmed, so whether or not, if they do Star Wars, it's a complete surprise.
Yeah.
I'd also be fuming because I would genuinely stay up to watch American football just to get the Star Wars trailer. As someone that has the BBC broadcast with no adverts, I'd rather watch an illegal stream with the adverts on to get the Star Wars trailer. But
not that we say anybody should watch a legal stream.
It's
just
bad.
I have the NFL Game Pass because I'm a massive Patriots fan, so I will be watching the legal stream with all of the trailers and stuff. Because I do have the Game Pass, so I get the American broadcast, I get the American trailers, so I will get to see if there is a Star Wars trailer or not. Now, yeah, that's just me because a Patriots fan, George did ask, what would you rather have, Star Wars trailer or the Patriots wins? Well, Patriots win. Like, oh yeah, because you have to change at any point. Exactly. But doesn't mean I'm not hoping for a Star Wars trailer, because that would be the best night possible, as long as we win. But that's beside the point. Yeah, we were all kind of shocked that the title that just got dropped randomly. Boom, there it was. But it's because Rogue One's coming to the end of its cinema cycle. They've started to get production of Red Cup, so they've now begun their kind of January kick, as it were. What I've noticed with The Force Awakens and then Rogue One, and now with 8 stuff is they build up throughout the year. With Force Awakens, they had a trailer the December before, so they had a whole year to build it up, and then as soon as one film starts to have its cinema cycle end, they start gearing up for the next one, so it's a linear progression. Hopefully we'll get this trailer soon, but we'll see.
I mean, the worst comes to the worst, we get it in April, which is still great. There's a part of me that, as Adam Driver said, he'd love there to be no trailer, which I understand you would, mate, but let's be honest, not in this day and age. If we don't get it on Sunday, we'll get it at Star Celebration. That would be ridiculous to not release it on Sunday.
They have confirmed, actually, the full trailer, first trailer, to be at Celebration. They confirmed that already.
It could be a teaser, because it's 30-second spot, so they could either spend 50 million and get 1 minute, or 25 million for 30 seconds. It's not like Disney can't afford it. They've only got the top 5 highest grossing films of 2016.
Yeah,
4 crossing $1 billion, so they're really struggling for money to promote it. But
there'll be some lying under a cushion somewhere with the big ears. Oh, I found some money. I found $1 billion in an envelope just over here. Yeah. That's fine.
But hopefully, it's going to be something. And one thing I'm intrigued by is, in the press releases, in the trailers, is Star Wars going to be in a red title or yellow? Because I'm hoping yellow.
Oh, it'll be yellow.
I think it's very much just the poster that they've put this red text. I know Brien Johnson tweeted
the crawl.
that he was. Someone asked if the crawl was in red. He said, "No, it's in yellow. It's." And I love that. I posted a shot on our Facebook page of Brien Johnson put up on his Instagram.
Yeah, I laughed to myself on that one for one reason and one reason alone. No one I think has thought of yet. So, Star Wars Episode 8, title crawl. Episode 8. We continue exactly where we left off. Done. What can they put in the title crawl?
I could imagine something like the galaxy is in turmoil. The New Republic has been destroyed by the First Order's weapon Star Killer base. Former General Leader Han Solo has been murdered at the hands of his son, and now the young Jedi Rey is found Luke's home on whatever in Ireland. And now she is awaiting his decision to see if he will hold her lightsaber. He was
mortal. He was just...
it's going to be... I mean, I think Carrie Fisher spoiled at Celebration, in her honor, I'll say that she literally said, oh yeah, there's a funeral scene for Han. And everyone was like, what? And at this point, we didn't know it was set straight after. So, in honesty, the first scene, although it's going to be the Han scene, surely if this funeral, Luke's going to come back for it.
I missed that.
Did I just? It was in her Princess Diaries.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Someone said like.
Oh, George.
Someone said to Carrie like, what was Leia doing? But no, someone said, what were you doing between filming episode 6 and 7? And she goes, and she thought, and she interpreted that as, what does Leia do between 7 and 8? And she's like, well, we filmed Han's funeral, and everyone was like, ooh, because I missed the spoiler of Donnie Yen that he was going to get killed by. I forgot
when he died.
Yeah, that was it. I didn't clock onto that. I just remember him shouting about Big Gun.
No, Dave and I were sat next to each other when that bit was revealed. We both turned to one. Did he just say yes? He did.
I missed that one, and I don't know how, but I'm guessing it could be because were you at the Carrie panel?
No, I was getting my.
No, I didn't go to the Carrie panel.
I was getting Mark Hamill at that point.
Oh, because I thought you guys are both there with us. Oh,
George,
I feel a bit bad now.
We would have found out in December, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, it might be the first shot of the new
Might be
trailer.
the trailer. Yes, it might be.
Well,
And then
spoiler alert from
until then,
George
though.
there.
That won't happen again. That's the only thing she spoiled, I promise.
We'll edit this out, the audio version, it'll be fine.
To be fair, they did actually edit the Rogue One panel from Celebration to take out that bit.
Yeah, they cut that out.
I'm
They
guessing-
shot the crowd on it and took it out.
I reckon this year, what they'll do because of that, they'll probably put like a 30-second delay onto the streams, so they can cut something straight up. I hope they don't. Although it doesn't make any difference because I'm not going to be in the room in America.
What are the dates for the? Does anyone know the dates for Celebration this year?
Isn't it Easter Sunday that week?
16th through the 19th, I believe. Of April. I do have the dates.
Awesome.
It's something like that. I don't know if that's Easter Sunday, but it'd be great if Mark Hamill like rose on
Going to be
Easter
some late
Sunday.
nights.
It is the 14th. Sorry, it's the 13th through the 16th. Sorry,
Well, some late nights of watching the streaming.
Yes, and we will do a full report and breakdown here on Late Ones with the Force Star Wars podcast.
Right.
Nice plug.
Yeah.
Is that everything on the news?
That-
This has been a very heavy news episode. This is the title.
Yeah, we were very happy
Come
with this.
closer,
Like, we're going, right, what we're going to talk about this week? And that's news. Yes, so, Rebels recap. There's our next section. So yeah. Fenrir and Kanan discuss the Darksaber, its past, how it united Mandalore, and how it could do so again in the hands of Sabine. She then takes up the mantle and tries to train with Kanan and Ezra with a little bit of hesitance and a little bit of like, I don't really want to do this. And then, of course, with some upgrades for the suit from Fenrir, and then the Darksaber herself, she starts to train and starts to reveal things about her past. Now, Dave, I know you're not hugely big on Sabine. How did this episode work for you?
Oh, I feel you're going to not like me after this. I still can't get away with Sabine as a character. There was moments where her reveal at the end of why she fell out with her family and because she'd been building weapons for the Empire that then used against the Mandalorian people, I really enjoyed. But up until that point, I just don't know what it is about. But I cannot get away with the character. I loved Kanan in this. I loved how he was getting in trouble with Hera for making a fight with the sticks. I thought that was excellent. The relationship between them. I thought Ezra, for the bit he was in, was great again. I just don't know what it is. I cannot get past my not dislike, but just no real interest in the character. And I said last week, I think if this was her final few episodes and she went off to lead Mandalore with that for them to reduce the crew by one. Go, you guys can praise it and say how good it was and how much you loved it. I'll sit here quietly.
Yeah. Yeah, I quite like the episode. That's the thing, though. I enjoyed. I also enjoyed the reveal, though, of the history of the Darksaber, because it was something that was only briefly touched upon in the Clone Wars. They didn't really speak too much about it. They didn't really give too much background to it. So to have the background of the first Mandalorian Jedi, actual first confirmed Mandalorian Jedi of Sar Vizsla, that was kind of cool.
The animation was superb for that. I loved that touch of the 2D animation on the wall.
So this is the first canon Mandalorian Jedi we've had.
Do you want me to?
Yeah,
go on, George. Go for it.
I love
Tell me how wrong I
Mandalorians. The episode itself was an intriguing one because I loved the kind of Star Wars version of the Deathly Hallows story with the great narration and the cool animation. I loved the Darksaber in Clone Wars when it was going to get announced this season. I was like, get in. Even the little tease with in Maul's little hideout a few weeks ago, and I was kind of waiting for this. And I loved the story of it. I'd love to see more of the Mandalorian Jedi stuff. You know, the Siege of Coruscant, and they just go in and murk the Jedi Temple. That would look absolutely outstanding if they ever wanted to put it into a film one day, or even an animated series. But the training itself, I was not necessarily bored. I'm not the biggest Sabine fan, but I like her more than others. So, Dave, my version of Sabine to you is Hera. I get so bored around her because she's the morally right one, who's always right, the mum figure.
And here I am, who's named my cat after her. You know.
Yes, so we've all got our favourites. But I ultimately know that her ending is going to be her as general before the Battle of Scarif, which is a shame that I actually know that, but that's what they told us. Anyway, losing the point. The final few minutes of this episode was some of my favorite from Star Wars Rebels. It was nice seeing Sabine almost not heading to the dark side, but I mean she was more than ready, and we got the reveal that when she was in the Imperial Academy, she made the bombs they bombed Mandalore with, and I thought that was really cool. And then you actually got a bit of emotion because before she's always been the smarky young girl adult thing, and now which I really hope they explore in the next few episodes. Well, I think it's 1 or 2 or more episodes we're going to get with the Mandalore stuff, but they've now, by having an episode of training, they can now build up to go straight into the Mandalore without the need to have them scenes, because I, for one, genuinely thought this episode would kind of be set in Mandalore as well. So I'm actually kind of happy they went for this kind of old school one location for it, and we're going to have you training with Kanan. I liked the Kanan angle of him trying to like, discipline her. I liked him losing it, saying how the Mandalorians lost. So there's a really good bit of world building.
They added more canon to the actual canon to the background of the Mandalorian Jedi Wars, because although that was something that was in the expanded universe, they never mentioned it in canon. So then to have that put in, something quite interesting, quite cool.
I loved Kanan in this. I mean, I think he's probably my favorite character out of this Rebels altogether. I loved how annoyed he got. He was pushing Sabine at the end, like really pushing her. And when he was trying to train and she was trying all her fancy little weapons out, he just like cut off the rope they wrapped around. It was like the Jedi won the battle against Mandalore. It's just like, oh, I just brushed her aside. It's probably one of my. He's getting up there. He's getting more powerful as well as the series goes on, which I'm kind of dreading towards his ultimate end goal of whatever it is going to be. But I think even Freddie Prinze Jr., who knew I was going to feel this way about somebody played by Freddie Prinze Jr. But I do. I love this character.
Yeah, I didn't think that's possible. I do love Kanan. I mean, my least favourite character is Ezra out of everyone, actually. Just on the different characters there. I mean, he's my least favourite character, just because he's a bit too whiny. But I think it's because he's kind of the Anakin of the group. At the same time, there is no Jedi Order to train him. He's only got Kanan, so he's learning from one source. So there is no strict meditation, so strict. You can see he has grown and progressed. As he seen as training Sabine to start with. But even that, you can see his kind of limits and his kind of snarkiness as well, because he's so arrogant. And again, that's part of his character, part of probably his downfall at the end. But we'll see how that works out. But I loved the reveal. I loved how, at the end of it, Sabine lost it. She just went absolutely mental. And look, you don't know what it's like. I basically invented the bombs that killed my people. You have no idea what it's like. There's no way you can sympathize with, empathize with me. There's no way you can do it. You have your stuff, I have mine. I've wanted to leave this alone. You have forced this out to me, and I will make you pay. She doesn't want to take over this mantle of Mandalore, but by the end of it, I think she's kind of ready to accept it, and that's how we're going to springboard onto the Mandalorian arc.
Let's say for a character I don't have much time for, it was an amazing moment. Just the actress I can't remember her name, but the actress who played it did it so well. It was and that was an emotional moment as well when she revealed exactly why she can't go back to her family. And yeah, it was an excellent. The end of that episode again, excellent. Like the episode before when we got the 20 seconds of Thrawn, and this was like that. It built up and got this amazing last few seconds. And to be honest, you could totally tell that Dave Filoni had written this episode. It was all over it. It was a great episode. I just wish I liked the character more. It would have meant more to me.
I think as well, Dave Filoni said in an interview that this was one of the rare moments where he had the voice actress read her lines and then they made the animation around the performance rather than the other way around, because he said it's such a pivotal moment of not just this episode but her story arc throughout the entirety of Star Wars Rebels. This may be one of her defining moments, especially in terms of development. But hearing things like that, you just think Dave Filoni, he knows what he's doing. He's the head of animation for a reason, and I can't wait to see what the real plans are. Because if this is happening midway through a series, God knows what the final episode is going to be like. It's going to be incredible.
Give Filoni a movie.
I would love to see that. I reckon he would do a fantastic job with it. Hopefully, because we still have got, 1 or 2 unannounced spin-off movies.
I'd love to see him write one. Direct, maybe. It's very risky, but imagine if he wrote an old school, Old Republic film, because he's probably the guy that was telling them to drop, Mandalorian stuff in there. Imagine he had some input onto that. He's head of animation, and I think he'd probably love to write a film if he's given the chance, because he nails his story arcs, he nails the TV shows, and if in terms of writing, he can easily write a film. Trilogy as such.
To be honest,
It does make me excited that.
Sorry, yeah, I want to see Pablo Hidalgo write a film. That would be amazing. The amount of Easter
Just be
eggs.
full of snarky Twitter comments. It'd just be
And coffee.
just because you're all pals now. Oh, look at us with our friend Pablo Hidalgo.
Yeah, and coffee.
He replied to me.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense.
I know, I saw.
He replied to
Didn't
me
make
as well.
any-
This is the thing. George and I have both had tweets answered by Pablo Hidalgo. We have got Dave yet to go. In fact, in the comments below, leave a question that Dave should ask. See if he can get a reply. Leave a suggestion below. We'll see if we can come up with.
Let's get Dave to bother people and see what he can make happen. But no, I was just going to say.
To be
before,
fair, Dave, you're just as good looking as Andy Gutierrez, so you know you can do that for us.
I know, right? This body. For people listening, it's not good. So anyway, yeah, as I was going to say, with this series, we've got Rebels, and obviously that's only going to run maybe we're in series 3 now. 2 more series at a push
Yeah,
to get into A New Hope.
They're trying to do a year per series, so I also like the
So
fact
I'm
that they did confirm that with the underbelly of Thrawn's starship, it was actually, I can't remember the name of the animal they used for it. They did say that was an intended design.
I can't. They must already know what their next animated series is. They must be, maybe not working on it, but definitely a scripting, or at least not scripting, but we're really excited for whatever comes next, because they've got so many eras now they can jump to, and I'd love it to be just an After Jedi one.
I would like it to be between 6 and 7. There's so much scope they can do. You've got the Aftermath book series, which, as we know in Star Wars from last week, Empire's End does come out February 21st. We've got actually probably release it. It's February 21st, so that'll be out soon. So you have the Aftermath trilogy. You then also have Bloodline, and you have I can't remember. There's another book set between 6 and 7. So you do have some scope in there, but a nice proper series set between 6 and 7 would be amazing. So there's 30 years.
And if you think about it, in 2 years' time when Rebels would finish, we're just about to get episode 9. And that's going to bookend the trilogy as such, which means that any really important information would have been disclosed at this point, or about to be disclosed, that they could go and explore. So, you know, that could give them a time frame. You can learn more about the Knights of Ren, more about Snoke, whatever their plan is. A series between 6 and 7 going to be perfectly viable for them to release, and would be absolutely outstanding, especially if Battlefront doesn't do it, which I think they will do. Rise of the First Order, if you could see how they came to be and stuff like that.
Well,
however, I think we're going to get a deeper understanding of that soon.
Yeah, if you read Star Wars Bloodlines, it does have the literal beginning of the First Order, or the beginning of the Resistance as well, but there is, as far as my memory can serve me right, someone might correct me in the comments on this one, there's still a 14-15 year gap between Bloodline and The Force Awakens. So there's a massive gap in that they can then do a full rise of the First Order, and how they swept the Outer Rim, and how they came back from basically having nothing as the Empire into being with the Galactic Senate, well, the New Republic Senate, sorry, and then kind of sweeping into becoming this vast organization that's able to, you know, how they built Starkiller Base. Come on, who doesn't want to see that story?
There's no Geonosians to build it for them this time.
So I want
Just
to see
actual
that.
contractors they're getting.
Yeah.
But bringing back the episode, I mean, I thought it was out of you know, if I was going to mark it, I would put it as a high sort of 8 episode. You know, out of 10, not like 100. That would be awful. But it did actually. I am still excited for the next part of the arc. I am looking forward to seeing the Mandalorians. I am seeing what's going to happen with that story. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting the next. I mean, it's not for. Is it? It's not this weekend. I think it's next weekend. Is it?
No, it's February 18th.
18th, so it's miles away. But it's
got
coming.
a long time.
I know it's back on. It's been off the UK for Disney XD. Haven't shown any episodes in the first 2, but they're back on this weekend, so they'll be catching up. So get a chance to watch those again.
By the time our
on,
next
Disney
episode
XD.
comes around, we will be a couple of days away from having the next episode.
So we should have a few more trailers, a few more TV spots to go. So we'll
So yeah, by episode 3, we won't have Rebels recap, but we'll still have the rest of our stuff, including Star Wars, Toy Shelf games, and other bits and pieces. Speaking of Star Wars, I'm sure we're done with Rebels and we can move on.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So yes, with Star Wars again, the lovely new-centric episode. We had 2 books announced in the past week. We had Rebel Rising, which follows Jyn Erso's journey after before Castle. That was only partly after Castle, actually, between her being discovered at the start of Rogue One, with her journey with Saw Gerrera and how she became involved with the rebellion, to give you a nice background between then and the rest of Rogue One. And the other part, which I think we all can't wait for, is Guardian of the Wills, which is a Baze and Chirrut story, and we all love Baze and Chirrut, so I'm pretty sure we're excited to see that.
Yeah, I think with the Jyn one, that's maybe something of these sort of so-called reshoots, things they couldn't show. It might be a story that maybe they developed on screen that we'll get more details on. But yeah, Guardians of the World is the one I think most people are going to be excited for, because Jyn's is very straightforward. At the end of the day, it'll be cool to learn more about her learning with Saw Gerrera, but we know the end story that he abandoned her when she turned 16 and left her with a gun. Whereas Guardians of the World, we only know that obviously the Jedi Temple got destroyed, and that, you know, of love with the Jedi. So and be less blessed, if that's going to be a right word. But no, it's great we're getting 2 more books, prelude books as well, because they're going to give you so much more depth to it.
I do have a. I mean, they're going to be. I think they've already said they're going to be like junior novels, so they're not going to be. They're going to be based on sort of not a young audience, but a younger audience. I guess there'll be something to see in some of the writing, but still, I think to fill in the story of.
Rebels Rising is a proper novel. Guardians of the Wills is the young readers novel.
The junior novel. I knew one of them was going to be something, but I'm still looking forward to that story, as George said, more than the Jyn story. I really do want to see these guys being best of buds in the Jedi Temple, or guarding the Jedi Temple. I think it's going to be a really great story to hear.
No, I agree. I mean, I think, they could set. I think Rebels Rising set immediately after Catalyst, and just after the beginning of Rogue One. So there's quite a bit of scope in that. But yeah, I will read both of them, and Guardian of the World is something I'm very much looking forward to. Yes, but on Toy Shelf, we have a hell of a lot of notes. Toy Shelf. Oh, sorry, go on.
Could I quickly just say, I'm not going to go into details, but issue 1 of Darth Maul came out as of yesterday. I think it's a 5-part series. I picked it up. I'm not going to give any details, but I kind of enjoyed it. I just prefer binge reading comics, so unfortunately I've got to wait 4 months to finish it off. But that's worth having a read of if people are interested. It's great to see prequel stuff. That's all I'm going to say.
How did I forget? I also picked up that issue yesterday as well. Oh dear, that's my brain for you. I saw the Cursed Child yesterday, so my brain's still kind of fried on that. But yeah, no, we're not on Harry Potter, we're on Star Wars here. So yes, Toy Shelf. There's a lot of news for Toy Shelf. The Wave 10 for the Black Series 6-inch is now fully released. That includes Baze, Chirrut, Threat to Krennic, Death Trooper, and Jyn Erso is stuff from my memory. I can't remember anything else from that.
No, it's the 6 characters, yeah. Death Trooper, Krennic, Baze, Chirrut, Jyn, and Cassian are the 6.
Cassian, there we go. I knew I forgot one.
Yes.
Somewhere. Yeah, no, they all look really cool. I will get Baze and but Baze and Chirrut look really cool. I think Baze and Chirrut is something that a lot of people want to see more of, just because they're hilarious and awesome. And of course, gave us the name for this show. Yeah, no, we love Baze and Chirrut, and they look really cool. I also, look quite like the Jyn one, because when we were at Celebration, that was the first one kind of officially / unofficially revealed. So when revealing packaging, you just had Gwendolyn Christie give Felicity Jones her figure, which was kind of cool to see.
It's like the passing of the torch, but it's plastic and it's a sculpt of your face. But at the end of the day, yes, these people love it. I mean, if you get cast in a Star Wars film, even as an extra, there's a likely chance that you will be a toy. Just quite Buzz Lightyear.
Wouldn't that be part of your contract? Every toy made of me, I want. Yeah. Just send it to me.
Yeah,
that's part of my contract. Yeah, that's the deal.
Gwendolyn Christie on Force Friday not last year, it's the year before now, she actually put a picture of her just surrounded in Captain Phasma merchandise.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that there was more merchandise of her than there was in the film.
Than actually in the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It
hopefully
was a shame that her
episode
figures are cooler than her character was, but
Yeah.
again,
Maybe
though-
episode 8 she'll kill some people.
Yeah, maybe. Well, she's in a garbage compactor. She doesn't she even live? We'll find out. Again, Funko Pop. They announced a Walmart exclusive Inquisitor line, which is really annoying. So really cool. You've got the Grand Inquisitor. You've got Fifth Brother and Seventh Sister. So yes, that's quite cool. I want them. Yeah. We don't want helicopter lightsabers because we do not speak of those, but we do want Inquisitors. I
do love Grandmaster, not just because it's Lucius Malfoy in disguise, just his fighting stance and everything. Helicopter, just he'd actually fight with one blade, unlike the others who always went for two because they were pathetic and they would fly away from danger. But no,
and
it's
with him
kind
being
of
an old the guard, the temple guard as well. I think it just adds more to him. And he was a great character.
Oh yeah,
I loved it, and he let himself die. He didn't want to get saved. I think, if I can remember season 1 rightly.
Yeah, threw himself into there are worse
yeah.
things than death. Off he went.
yeah.
Probably answering to Darth Vader.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
Along with that, though, we also had a bunch of new Lego sets leaked online as well. I'll let George take this one.
Yes, so I was coming back from London yesterday, and I got a message from Phil, or the day before. I can't remember. I was on a train somewhere, and he's like, "All these Lego sets are leaked." I was buzzing because I've been collecting most of the Rogue One Lego sets. Straight away, started reading. We have Stormtrooper Commando, which I believe is their kind of... It's a very weird range. When I was younger, we had Lego Technics, which are absolutely amazing of characters. And now they kind of do that, but basic for kids. So you get the faces of the characters. Anyway, so they've released a Stormtrooper Commander, but far more excitingly, a speeder bike with a Scout Trooper on.
Looks awesome.
As much as I just dissed this range, as much as I don't like the look of this range, I need that speeder bike because that will look absolutely outstanding. They always do. It's one of my favorite vehicles, but I'm getting too carried away. We have a Republic fighter tank. Nice to get some Clone Wars stuff. A bounty, I believe, includes Bosk, Dengar, and another bounty hunter.
Or a Sings.
So 3 Lego minifigures, and I think that's like the cheapest light pack, which is like 15. So that's going to be worth getting itself.
Either Forlom or you've got who's the other one I'm thinking of? Zuckus. Zuckus is it.
That's the one. So it's 3 of the 6, 7 that we probably haven't had Lego sets since the original Super Star Destroyer came out. We have some Episode 7 content with the Raftar escape. Which would look really weird in Lego to build them. I'm hoping you get to build like 60 teeth that go in their mouth. Is it going to come with a shoe? I don't know. These are questions that should be answered. More amazingly, the quad jumper, which had an almighty 5 seconds of footage, which is promotional image, has
it's
it in
also got
space.
its own X-Wing ship, but we'll get onto that for the games in a second. But yeah, that's just like, here we go, small little thing, but massive toy range. But
yeah, the quad jumper's a weird one. It's advertising it being flown in space, but we know it got blown up, so I'm not sure what went on there. They could have easily stuck the Jakku background. That's just me being snidey. Then there's another Lego Tracker 1, which I've genuinely forgotten what that is. If I'd like to take that one.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Let's just say it's not the one we want, because the one we want is the Darth Vader transformation set.
Yes, we do.
And
yes,
we want this.
Dave,
I was like nodding my head frantically. If you can't see me, if you're hearing me, I'm nodding my head frantically. I want that set.
It comes with a figure that I didn't know about because I couldn't see it in the leaked image properly. Dave, take it because you seem buzzing.
This is obviously they've been redoing some of the sets recently. That this is obviously the transformation set that came in a couple of years ago. It was a fairly basic. They've updated that, but the best thing about it now, the figure that you get 3 minifigures in there. You get 1 Emperor, of course, he was there. You get Darth Vader because that's what they're making. But you get crispy Anakin. You get Anakin all burnt up. The picture on the box actually shows him with little flames around him, like he might still be a little bit on fire. But that made me smile massively for starters. But that is a minifigure that I have to add to my collection. That crispy Anakin is hashtag crispy Anakin. I can't wait to add him to the rest of my minifigures.
Before we get on to the next bit, we've had Adele Hall say ahoy. She's my co-host on the Back of Awesomeness, so hello out there to you. Thought I'd say hi before I get in trouble with that one. But yes, the next bit of news on that is the Novos Jin Urso costume is now up for pre-order. Now, if you don't know Novos, they do a lot of Stormtrooper outfits. They do both the First Order and the regular. They do some Clone Wars stuff. They do a Rey outfit as well. They did some their own stuff. So they do a lot of high-end quality costumes that if you want to be part of the 501st, or you take a look at modifying to be available for them. So it's something that is quite cool. And the Jin Urso costume is now up for pre-order. And then along with that is something that I found out the other day, and I had to tell George immediately about, and Dave as well, is the Bandai 144th scale 80AT. I kind of want that because that thing looks glorious.
I love AT-ATs. I have my uncle's original Kenner one, which he will never get back, and I will never pass on to any other relatives. I would never give it to a nephew. That was a very bad mistake indeed. And it looks amazing. When you messaged me, I was like, I haven't seen any new sets for a while. I saw the Rogue One ones. They sent me a picture, and I was like, yeah, I need this. With Bandai, because I don't think they're allowed to sell in England, there's this little design called eBay. And the best thing about eBay is...
The Tokyo Detectives is what I've been recommended recently. I did ask about it because I was quite interested in getting some Clone Troopers and some Stormtroopers, but maybe this as well.
Another thing, eBay's great for that because they can't really control the imports as such. There's not ridiculous import fees like America. They send you your Bandai models, and it's dirt cheap because the whole yen... Not dirt cheap, but it's a fair rate, the way the ratio translates. Probably the same if you're in America and you're listening. The Bandai stuff is great. It's worth getting, and it's an AT-AT. You won't want one, you'll want three, but finances.
They also have ATSTs as well, and yeah, I want them. I must admit,
and then all you need to complete the set is just some bit of cotton wool on the floor, and then you're set. You can play all day.
Yeah, budget AT-AT.
Had the ATDB Rogue One. There's one thing that they thought they were missing in Rogue One was the ATDB.
I'm still surprised there has been no merchandise of the AT-ACT.
There is a Hasbro AT-AT.
I've seen the Hasbro one, but I was guessing that Lego, whether or not they do this later on down the year,
they would probably do it as an RCS though.
I think this is going to be an AT-AT. This would be the year to re-release it or do the AT-ACT, because it's bigger and it's got an orange middle. If they're going to redo the AT-ACT, because they are redoing most of the sets, this year's going to be the best shot of doing so. I would buy it. Many would buy it as long as they don't do a Death Star. Put the price by £100 and change no things about it.
I've heard the rumor that they are going to do the Ultimate Collector Series Millennium Falcon again. Which I missed last time, and it's now, if you want to get that set now on eBay, you're looking at least £1,200 to get that to buy now. It's crazy prices. It is a beauty. It looks massive. It looks a stunning set of Lego. Yeah, so if that does come out, I'll be jumping on
that. My ultimate one as a kid. I've got the ultimate Lego Yoda. I've had this since I was 8. I'm looking at it. It's in the corner of the room. Maybe I'll see it though. I always saw the Death Star 2. That's one of the most. I believe it's with the Millennium Falcon, the most expensive Star Wars Lego. Number 2 is the Collector's Edition Super Star Destroyer. Number 3 is the Death Star 2. I would want that. I would cherish that. I'm never going to afford that too. So I'm hoping that gets re-released. But I was at the Lego shop in London yesterday. I saw the new Death Star. It's gigantic. The box is insane. Obviously, if I was a horrendous person, I would have stole it, but good luck getting out of London with that. Just imagine being someone that works at a Lego shop and you get paid to sometimes build them. That would be insane indeed. But, I think the way the Lego works, you get 3/4 of the business year. Q1 was forced Friday to January. We just had a wave of January with the Battle of Scarif Y-Wings and stuff. I'm assuming this is wave 3 for the financial year. Then wave 4 will be, I'm guessing, July to September in order for them to rehash the episode 8 stuff for the next year.
Yeah.
So hopefully, July time, we might get some details on a potential AT-AT and more spoilery Rogue One sets, I guess you could say.
The one thing I must say is my friend Robin, I have to give him a shout out here on this one just for the hilarity of this. He did pick up the Millennium Falcon. He didn't pick up the UCS one, I don't think, but he did pick up the Force Awakens one. But I had to give a shout out for this one because talking of the UCS and Lego Star Wars, one day, this is a few years ago now, he ordered a UCS sound cooler, and he was around mine, we were hanging out, and he was like, please keep on the text. So yeah, text it. If a giant box arrives, it's for me, it's Lego. And I'm like, yeah, you got 2 large ones here. Okay. I jokingly said, well, maybe they've sent you a second sound cooler. I said, well, it's a 250 quid kit. They sent it, then you can have it. Goes home. It's a second UCS sound cooler. So I have a UCS like a sound cooler, all thanks to Robert. So I have to give him a shout out for that one because I was just laughing away. That was.
Have you built it?
I have built 3 courses of it. I'm building it slowly with Adele because it's something that we could do as a little project together. I don't see it as often as I'd like, so along with doing other things, we do build this on occasion. So it's getting there. It's getting there.
That's amazing. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it for the toy show. There's a lot of news. But in terms of that, then we go on to games. I'll continue the toys just for a second, though, in terms of that. In terms of X-Wing, which I do a lot of reporting on, Wave 10 got a release today, officially, February 2nd. Finally, so you've got the Upsilon class shuttle, which is Kylo Ren's shuttle. You've got the quad jumper, which, as I was saying earlier, is something that I find hilarious because it's also the first ship that can fly backwards. Literally, it's got a red 1 backwards maneuver, which is hilarious. If you know anything about X, if you played the game, you'll know there's some ships that can do a 0 maneuver, but to go backwards is unprecedented. So that's hilarious. And Sabine's tie is also out. I think that's it as far as I can remember, because the rest of it was the TIE Striker and the U-Wing, which of course came out in January. But that's the X-Wing stuff. But also, there's something that we've all picked up today, which is the Star Wars Force Arena mobile game. I'll let George take this one.
So there I was, just, not trolling the App Store, but I was just, I'm sick and fed of playing WWE Supercars, which I love it. It's fun. I'd recommend it anyway. And then I seen an advert. I was like, I swear this is Star Wars Command, and I realized it wasn't. This was something new. And then I pressed download, and then I signed in. And then I've got hooked on another iPad game, which involves Star Wars, which I've told you guys about because it's brand new as well. It's really good. It's essentially it's a player v player game. It's either 1-on-1, 2v2. You get given a kind of a squadron, and you can mix and match. The very obvious stuff. You can get an X-wing attack. You can get like rebels. The best thing, you get a leader for each of your sets. So you start with Luke, Leia, Grand Inquisitor, and Director Krennic. If you're clever and scout the inboxes, which they kept quiet, they gave you a login bonus for the first week of like 1,600 crystals, which gives you another leader. And each leader has like a co-pilot as such. So Han would have Chewie, XYZ. I landed Baze and Chirrut, which is probably the best double team you could ask for right now because they're equally matched. All in all, it's a very fun, addictive mobile game. It's not one of those ridiculous ones where you have to recharge after playing 3 games. You get to play for as long as you like. It's good fun. I thoroughly recommend it. Just be careful because it's got microtransactions, which I don't normally fall into the trap of, and I intend not to, but it's very fun. And it was a very quiet release. It wasn't advertised a lot, especially compared to previous mobile games, but I'd definitely give it a go.
I know something I only downloaded it today, so I've only just started on the first mission just to have a go. But graphically, I thought it looks incredible for what we're on a mobile phone now. I mean, it's when you bring in an X-wing attack and things like that, it looks superb.
On the iPad, the Baze and Chirrut, they look like PS3 graphics, which is mental. Because PS3 is obviously they're a few years old, but to get that on a handheld thing, it's absolutely amazing. And the fact they've got Rogue One content. The only downside is no prequel stuff. Whether or not they choose to expand on that one day in the future, I don't know. But no, I'd recommend it. It's worth having a look at.
I thought it's exciting on the load screen that you see Kanan and Ezra as well.
Yeah.
That made me smile as well.
I find it hilarious because it's now in my folder on with the Star Wars Card Trader app and Star Wars Commander and Knight's-Steel Republic. Which I find hilarious though, the fact that Knight's-Steel Republic was one of the best games for PC and console when it was released, and now you can get it on a mobile phone. That's how far we've come in the past decade. It's like, here's one of the best games ever. Oh, by the way, it's now on a mobile phone. Aha! Okay, yes, that's my toilet time now.
Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome. That's grim segue there.
Quickly forward.
Yeah.
I think this is kind of our last piece, is it not?
Ooh, one more thing on games.
Sorry, jump in, George.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Star Wars Battlefront. I'm going to take me and Phil were discussing before. EA released a really bizarre statement this week. Okay, this is what's in future for our Star Wars games. Obviously, I'm a big Battlefront fan. Quote basically saying Battlefront 2 will have well, technically Battlefront 4, but EA Battlefront 2 will have multiple eras and will have a story mode. And obviously, the big thing for me was multiple eras because we knew there'd be story mode. However, the link to their website doesn't say they have multiple eras, but I assume it will do, which to me is very exciting. As a fan of the original Battlefronts, I thought it was a disgrace that the new Battlefront 1 didn't have multiple era. And I'm excited that they've listened to fans' feedback as they have done for the last few years, and they're including that. I'm just going to go outright and say I'm expecting this to be the originals and the sequels. I don't expect prequels to be in there. However, if they are, I will be shell-shocked, but so happy because
I would hope
sequels.
I hope because they do have a single-player campaign finally, and I'm hoping that that you play from prequels through to sequels. That would be my hope on it.
I've got a feeling I'd love that because exactly like Battlefront 2, you went from the Rise of the Empire. I've got a feeling we might get some Rise of the First Order, so you might start after the original trilogy, maybe get the. I would love there to be a prequel stuff. I want to play as Darth Maul. I want to play as all of them. I want to play as Obi-Wan. I want to fight and duel on Mustafar. I have very high hopes for this game, and I'm expecting a full reveal at Star Wars Celebration, and then more at E3 or the other way around. But that's just, it's going around the game stuff, but they kept it very quiet, which was very odd.
Because when we were at Celebration, they did the release of Bespin, that DLC, so hopefully they'll do a nice big reveal then.
Because they originally did for the first Battlefront at Star Wars Celebration Germany. No, sorry, Anaheim. Anaheim. They had the first full trailer, which looked insane. So hopefully they build off that again. Right, and I think that's everything on the games.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. That leads us really into our last point that we've got to talk about. My two esteemed colleagues here have both been enjoying themselves in London town and have both been to see what looks glorious from the pictures that I've seen. Because I'm the one who hasn't been to see it, and that makes me sad. Is the Star Wars Identity Show down at the O2 in London. So, gentlemen, I'm going to sit here and look pretty. I'll just disappear if you're listening to this later on, while you two guys talk about this, what looks to be an amazing exhibition of Star Wars.
Yes, the Star Wars Identities exhibit. I was treated to it for my birthday. George had his tickets booked for a little while. The Identities exhibit up at the O2, it's got over 200 props and costumes, and what I found fascinating was also artwork as well. I'll let George I'll let you talk through the first bit, and then we can kind of go from there.
Yeah, so my sister's a Star Wars fan. You guys know that. I booked tickets for Christmas. Said, I've wanted to go since I opened in November. I just want to get it on a day off. Anyway, I knew there was something about building a character, but when I got into the exhibition, I didn't realize it would be so dense of creating your own character. There's plenty of Rick McCallum quotes that are going to be said here. Anyway, so you get given this kind of wristband, and you literally, as you go across the exhibit, just as a whole summary, you beat different things, and you take a career path, a good or evil path, stuff like that. At the end of it, you get your own Star Wars character, which is a really cool addition because not a single person goes there to create their own Star Wars character. Everyone went on artwork from the films, and this has got 2 episode 7 things, a lot of original trilogy, and a lot of prequel stuff. Obviously, mainly episode 1 stuff because there were a lot more miniatures and stuff, but the exhibition. Phenomenal. I can only compare it to a tidbit of the Harry Potter studio tours, one of the best exhibitions we've been to. And with the news recently that George Lucas is spending $1 billion to get his own Star Wars museum, not Star Wars museum, a Lucasfilm exhibition, I'm basically seeing this as a sort of demo test reel that everything here will go to this big George Lucas museum because it had a George Lucas black symbol on the advertising of it.
But there is rumour that they're going to turn Pinewood into the Star Wars studio tours in the dome bit. Which personally,
that would be
get from Rogue One. You get Death Star set, yay!
And I was on the Star Wars show, the Death Star set yesterday, and I just got it. It looks so nice,
beautiful.
shiny and chrome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
I loved how they showed that it was built more for Rogue One than they'd even built for the original trilogy. I thought that was an amazing touch.
Yeah. But to go back to the exhibit, you walk in, and as I said, George said, you get your expand things. You go and they go, okay, so you get to create your own character. So you start off by such what race you want to be and things. But then you go into the exhibit itself. Now, the first bit you see is incredible. Just seeing they have a first order stormtrooper, they have a original trilogy stormtrooper from A New Hope. And that's just incredible itself. It's from 1977 to have that there. We also had 3PO, they had BB-8, R2, they had a B-1 battle droid. That was cool. They had a proper original B-1 battle droid. Because of course for episode 2 and episode 3, Lucas went more and more green screen, blue screen, and it didn't even make any suits of clone trooper armor. The 501st has more suits of clone trooper armor than Lucasfilm. It's insane. But they actually had a B1 battle droid there, which I found really quite cool. They also had a couple of interesting things. They had one of the droids from Jabba's sail barge, and I can't remember the droid that tortures the Gonk droid in episode 4. They had that as well. So loads of cool little things. That's just from the start. That was the opening part of the exhibit.
Yeah, and before all that, you got something I marked out, which was Ponda Baba.
Yeah,
recently seen in Rogue One.
Yeah.
But I believe it's one of the only surviving sort of costumes from the canteen, which was really cool. But the exhibition got everything. You got Slave Leia. My favorite bit was the ships, all the glorious models designed as a space combat. So at one end you've got the Super Star Destroyer. Another end you have, I don't know the identity, but it was the rebel ship that Admiral Akbar's chilling.
That's Home One. Yeah, it wasn't a Super Star Destroyer. It was the Imperial class Star Destroyer. It was
the Super Star Destroyer is Vader's, the flat one.
Yeah, that's the Executioner. This is the Imperial class Star Destroyer from episode 5, the 5.5 foot gloriously detailed model. I mean, this thing is stunning from fore to aft. It is incredible.
It's everything. And I just love that around it you had a TIE bomber, TIE fighter,
Slave One.
Everything there looks stunning, and I don't want to talk about it because I want people to go to it, which is really hard because I need to talk about it.
Yeah.
And you have just Yoda on the left of you while you're looking at all these ships.
Oh.
And you get to look around, they have a whole hyperspace light stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Yoda is a recreation though, because although it's a replica by Lucasfilm as an official replica, it's not because it didn't survive. I mean, don't forget though, prosthetics being latex, they are plant-based material. They do degrade over time, unfortunately, which is why Ponda Baba's quite degraded as well.
Yeah, because he's kind of like yellowish. You can tell he's not getting off, but it's one of them where every corner you turned, your mouth would like just gape at something because it was just amazing. One of my personal favorites was the Millennium Falcon, but this was very strange because I've recently finished the Build of the Millennium Falcon magazine, which has been 100 weeks long, and it's a scale 1-to-1 replica of the Falcon used in episode 5 for filming. The one used for filming was at this exhibition, so I literally walked up to it, and obviously I didn't touch it, it's in a glass case. But I was there like, I literally have this currently sitting in my dining room. I know how much you weigh, but this is painted properly, and it still looks absolutely incredible, as does everything. And then you get prequel stuff, which I will keep saying is great. You had 3 of the Padme costumes, which was nice to see. Anakin episode 2, because as much as people dislike the prequels, they kind of get shunned to the side nowadays. I mean, yes, there's less stuff.
I like them. I'll go ahead on record on one of the Force podcast and go, I like the prequels. I don't love them like I love the original trilogy. I don't like them as much as the sequels and as Rogue One, but I do like them. I will quite happily say that.
I love them. Without the prequels, I wouldn't been to film. Yes, that's what Star Wars 1 before the original trilogy.
I do apologise.
But I love them. But then there's everything Jedi costumes, lightsaber. It's so hard to describe. But one of the things that had artwork there, Ralph McQuarrie. However, I don't know if it was the original.
Yes,
Ralph McQuarrie.
It was the original Ralph.
The original.
Yes, which is what I described it. When I came home to my parents, to my family, talking to them about it. Because for me, it's like going to the Louvre. going to see the Mona Lisa, but having basically no one there and having it right here, right in front of you where you could see it. And just being able to examine it and really look into it was incredible. We also had some of Dave Filoni stuff as well from Clone Wars. Again, just to see the detail, see the progression, and to see where it went. But I think for me personally, my favourite bit of artwork from all the McQuarrie stuff was the C-3PO and R2-D2 concept art.
Yeah. And I think that's the most iconic McQuarrie art as well. When I was there, that's the main one. I took a shit ton of pictures across the day. They're on my Facebook. But that was the one that when I was editing them at home, I was literally there, like, I was stunned. Because when I was there, you know, I was staying for ages, but there's so many people about. You don't get pushed aside, but you can't hog. Although I'd keep coming back to some things. I didn't expect how much.
I was there on Monday. I recommend if you're going to go on a weekday, because I went there on a Monday and I was just there for ages. I had no one around me. I barely anyone there.
Saturday was absolutely heaving. It was really cool to see. I'd always say this. There was like a dad there, and he had his daughter dressed up as Rey. Stuff like that. Daisy Ridley said it. Kathleen Kennedy. They want to see more of it. So it was like that celebration. It was really cool to see like the younger people dressing up more than just Princess Leia. So we're guessing in the coming years we might get some Jyn Erso, but we'll get a lot more Rey stuff. But it's great to go there with the fans and just seeing how people react to the different things, because, you know, I as someone that read of the prequels, obviously I love the old trilogy, but you'll get the people that grew up with the original trilogy, especially the older ones. It's an exhibition for people of all ages that I think would all appreciate elements of it. But it was an absolute stunning experience. And then it finishes with Darth Vader, the original suit worn by Dave Prowse. It was more intimidating being 2 foot away from that empty suit than I've ever been with anything else like that in an exhibition. It was just amazing.
Yeah, no, Vader, I mean, I knelt down to take a photo of it on one knee, and afterwards, like, yeah, I didn't just do that to take a picture. It was just like, it's Vader. It's that you can't describe it. You cannot describe the presence that suit has. It's not just because of what the character represents, but that helmet is genuinely intimidating. It is incredible.
And then as well, you had burnt. I didn't notice this was in the corner. You had Vader's helmet, episode 6, when he takes it off. That was really cool to see.
And then you had deconstructed. I took a load of photos of that, and I absolutely adored that. I thought it was incredible. I
think one of the very few episode 3 things was Sheev Palpatine's wall. His memorial, which was it looked absolutely stunning, and seeing things like that, it kind of makes you sad that why didn't they do more of that for the prequels? Because when they do it, it's phenomenal, which is such a shame. But the exhibition itself, I couldn't recommend more. I'm probably going to go again. It's open till November. Wouldn't be surprised if they extended it to like January. They tend to with exhibitions at the O2. But
I think it's September, mate.
Oh, is it September?
Yeah, it opened in November.
It started in November.
Yeah, it finishes September, but yeah, I can see them extending it. I was a bit disappointed there's no Rogue One stuff, though. We all saw the costumes at Celebration. I was hoping they'd have that there. I went with Adele. She is doing a Chirrut Imwe cosplay for Comic-Con in October. I was just a bit disappointed they didn't have them there because they had them at Celebration. But at the same time, they got enough stuff there to keep you occupied. I mean, they have well over 200 props, costumes, artwork, the lot. It's incredible. And as George said, he can't recommend it more. I can't recommend it enough. It's incredible. If you get the chance, especially you, Dave, if you get the chance, go and see what we're talking about.
And obviously, there's nothing Star Wars, without shop.
No, go for it. Go. The shop. Of course, there
was a shop. That's the official, the collectors. Yes, because it's Star Wars, they didn't just release one program. They released 2. One's the collector's one, obviously, that's hardback and an amazing book. And everything you want to buy is there. I didn't spend as much as I thought I would. That's because, you know, the plate set was 180 quid. I don't like plates, but I really wanted the ones they were selling. That's just Star Wars, and that's what these exhibitions do to you. But yeah, Dave's wheels.
It was my birthday celebration, so my girlfriend Odessa did treat me to the collector's edition. If you listen to the audio there, George was holding up his collector's edition. It's in a beautiful black case with an embossed silver logo on the front. But it's Vader's helmet built off of the second Death Star. It's got Star Destroyers, Lambda shuttles. It's a beautiful piece of artwork. But it's also got the complete catalogue in there. It's like all the collection in one place. So it's a great memento. It's a great shop. It's a great experience. But I would recommend going on a weekday because you don't get harassed. You get kind of pushed into it. You can take your time with that. That's the only thing I would say personally is if you get the chance to go on a weekday, take that because it's quieter.
Definitely,
I think
it was too busy on the Saturday.
before it comes out. Yeah, before it comes out, I want to take in Madame Tussauds as well. The Star Wars exhibition there as well.
Yes, I want to. I've not done it.
got
I know
there.
people who have done it, but I've not done it myself yet.
So I want to go there, and I also want to say I'm going to get this exhibition. I will not miss it before it leaves. If it does finish in September, I will be there before then. Take a day trip down, I think, because it's a bit of a journey from up here in the northeast, but I'll get down because it looks from what you put up there, and I'm just talking there. It sounds amazing. It sounds like it's everything I want to see. So thank you very much, gents. That was awesome. That was an awesome trip.
Yeah, I mean,
without having to be there.
If you guys have the comments, want us to put a few pictures from our personal experiences onto the Ones for the Force page, we will do so. So I took a bunch of photos. I know George took a bunch as well, and it's incredible.
And with that,
I think we are done for this evening. Is there any other points?
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, it's been fun
all I want
again.
to say, yeah. It's just again, it's a nice place to come and talk about Star Wars. Please, if you're watching this now on YouTube or at some point in the future, we'd just like to hang out and talk about Star Wars. Obviously it's something that it's everywhere, but it's nice to be able to come and sit down with a couple of friends and just chat it out for a couple of hours. And it's something I look forward to. I hope more of you come on board. Now we've got the SoundCloud account as well. You can actually have you don't have to have a screen up all the time. So please go to the SoundCloud, look for Ones with the Force, Star Wars podcast, subscribe to that, and our content will keep on coming.
Indeed. So, yes, to break it down, we will have not only the SoundCloud, as Dave just mentioned, we will have iTunes soon. As soon as that is verified, we will have that on our Facebook page. So, in the meantime, don't forget to check out our Facebook page. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to also check out the Twitter page. Check out Cinema Savvy. Check out The Life of Brien. Go check out the Battle of Awesomeness. We've been the Ones with the Force. May the Force brothers be with you. Good night.